is I would look at what everybody else was doing on the field. Those are tactics, what they're doing on the field. And I would be like, damn, those are some really good tactics. Then I would bring them back to myself and I would go, can we deploy this tactic? Does it fit in alignment with who we are and what we're trying to accomplish? No, it doesn't. Great. But you can't do that unless you're paying attention, unless you're studying and looking and you've defined the strategy.
LinkedIn is a tactic, not a strategy.
Yeah.
Right.
Social selling is a tactic.
Selling. Yeah.
Right. Is a tactic.
Social selling is a tactic, not a strategy, right? If you go down the different cold calling, every single tactic or every single behavior that's some coach or some strategy, which we do as well, right? Our tactics only fit if it works with your strategy to relationship sell, right? And grow your business a very specific kind of way.
Right.
If you don't fit that, and I wrote about it on one of my LinkedIn posts, what's the difference between being a relationship seller and a solution seller? Right. You know what I got? I got a lot of solution sellers who were like, oh, well, solutions. And they didn't even realize that when they were talking about relationship selling, they weren't even talking about relationship selling. They were still talking about transactions. And so what
providing
you realize,
value.
Right. Well, their strategy is to drive transactions. Right. And so everything they do after that is in alignment with, I got to get the transaction, which is very different than being relationship
you gave
focused.
Some really good feedback, just in general, that people are telling you what to do. It's okay if you don't do what we share.
Well, I think
you said that.
You have to understand what your product is, obviously your strategy, and then tactics. And because a lot of people on social media are selling like widgets or whatever, the $25, like even who's Andy Elliott. Yeah, I was watching his thing. Their average customer acquisition or whatever they spend is like $24. Right? Like that's far different strategy than someone who is selling a high ticketed price.
Correct.
Yet someone who's selling a high ticketed price is like, oh, well, then I should be doing that. I should be running ads. I should be slamming people every single day with sell, and funnel and this and that. And you start to really go down. And I love that I do this is I sign up for other people's stuff, not because I want to purchase it, but I want to see.
I want to learn.
I want to learn. I want to see what everybody else is doing. And you get down to it and it's like, all right, give us $5. And I go, that makes sense. But that can't be your strategy for something that has nothing to do with
that. Philosophy comes directly out of the way I used to look at special teams, right? Is I would look at what everybody else was doing on the field. Those are tactics, what they're doing on the field. And I would be like, damn, those are some really good tactics. Then I would bring them back to myself and I would go, can we deploy this tactic? Does it fit in alignment with who we are and what we're trying to accomplish? No, it doesn't. Great. But you can't do that unless you're paying attention, unless you're studying and looking and you've defined the strategy.
What you said that's so amazing is that the tactic is happening on the field.
Right.
The strategy happens way before that.
Right.
And so you can't make those changes. Well, let's change our strategy mid-game, which is what people do. Oh, I'm going to try this. Oh, I'm going to try this. And you go away from your strategy.
And you're here you are rowing your boat in a circle the entire time, right? Like you keep switching your strategy, which is essentially just moving one oar to the other side of the boat and you're not going anywhere.
When you guys came on board with me, right? I shared my strategy was to speak to CEOs, entrepreneurs, and business leaders. That's my strategy. That lives way up in the ether. Now, how am I going to do that?
Right.
How is where I incorporate different tactics. And cold calling is not a tactic to speak to that audience.
Because particularly for those people, that's not where you're going to get them.
Correct.
Right? So I think, and when you look at like what we built with the Get on the Ball community, right? Like, it's not for everybody.
Correct.
We're well aware that it's not for everybody. It's for three kinds of people. It's for entrepreneurs, it's for business leaders, and it's for revenue generators. If you are at all responsible for revenue, or you're an entrepreneur, or you're a business leader, this is a place that you can come to not only learn, but network and deploy the principles that make high performers high performers. That, so we don't want everybody. If you're not of a certain mindset, if you don't have a certain desire, if you're not in a certain role, it doesn't fit for us. And we're perfectly happy with that, because that allows us to be wildly more successful with that group of people than trying to be everything to everybody.
Right. And you also have to know, especially with social media, that they are businesses, right? Like LinkedIn, Meta, TikTok. Their goal is to make money.
Yeah,
right.
No, they are, and they're making money.
They're making lots of money.
And
who's our?
They did not in the beginning.
Correct.
Right. And so, Mark, who's the CEO of Instagram?
Oh,
I'm gonna butcher his name.
Mosley,
Messiah or something.
I'm gonna butcher it.
I'm gonna butcher it, right? But he has taken over recently and become much more forward facing as the leader, talking about the strategy of Instagram, what their goal is, and then tactics ultimately to reach that strategy of what they're pushing.
Yeah.
And he takes out was this weekend. It was a massive backlash. He decided to post that he took out influencers
in LA. He went to LA. And inside of LA had a dinner with like 8 of Instagram's biggest influencers. Which I think in a normal business, if you equate that, that's like taking out your like 8 highest performing employees
or clients,
right. Which would be great, right? It's like a great business practice.
And I think he was in the post or whatever, he was talking about learning from them. Right. And if you went to the comment section, every comment was like, this doesn't fit me at all.
He absolutely got roasted in the comments.
Roasted. This has nothing to do with a small business owner or selling a product. These people are purely entertainment. And if that's what you're pushing, then maybe this platform isn't right for me and I shouldn't be doing this and you're not pushing the right thing. So ultimately, I wanted to get back to the point of you have to understand where you are and what those strategies are of where you're advertising and where you're putting your message, because that ultimately drives what you do. And if you are not data driven, I think you are going to get left behind.
Yeah, it's impossible.
You're going to get left behind.
It's impossible to make informed decisions if you are
not data driven. That goes with anything. And if you are not constantly acquiring data to then make those decisions, you're flying blind.